backstory. So it was the NFL season of 2021, and I had been working with a client, kind of like in preseason and then throughout the season. And it was about halfway through the season where he finally got his first start because he was doing well in practice. So we would get together every Wednesday night, but this time he's like, Dom, I'm about to have my first start. Like, if there's anything extra you can do, give it to me, right? So what we did was as you know, when you're playing in the NFL, every new team that you got to play against, you got to use it. What's that?
Never played in the NFL, full
I
disclosure.
mean, for anybody who watches the
Yeah,
NFL.
respect. Respect.
So you have to learn the playbook of the upcoming team, right? So what we did was we took the plays, I put them into a hypnosis recording, and he looped it throughout the night, 8 hours a night for 4 days. So he went and played, and after we talked, and he's like, Dom, never in my entire career, high school, college, even in pros, I've never been so more in tune with what the other team was going to do, right? It's like I knew what they were going to do before they did it. So, and to be honest, previously to that, I never really even did sleep hypnosis. I would like listen to a recording one time or two times, and I'd just be like, whatever, this ain't working, right? So now that it worked with him, I was like, all right, there's got to be something to this. So about a week later, I sleep hypnosis and I started listening to it. And it's all about creating success and abundance, right? Financial success and abundance. So I started listening to it on a Tuesday. And by Sunday night, we had our most client signups ever. Like, people were just coming out of the woodworks. And this was great. But the problem was, at the time, I didn't have a huge team like I do now. And I just couldn't handle that much flow of clients. You know what I mean? 50% increase. Like, I could do that one week, but not week after week after week. So I stopped listening to it. Everything kind of slowed down. But a couple weeks later, I was like, you know what? I'm going to create my own sleep hypnosis, but I'm going to do it more around passive opportunities. So where I can have more money coming in, but not more work. Right. So I created a sleep hypnosis, put it on my YouTube, put it on my Instagram, gave it to a bunch of people, and a ton of people were just getting great results. Like, a couple days later, people were, man, I got a raise. Clients are coming to me out of nowhere, blah, blah, blah. But then also people were saying that they couldn't understand it, and that the recording was distorted. So, I'm like, all right, update your phone. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Right. And maybe they have a fucking Android or something. I just didn't get it. So fast forward, and this is where it gets weird. So a couple months go by, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to give my sleep hypnosis to all these new people, or all my new clients, so they can start listening to it and create abundance financially. So I started giving it to clients. Well, about a week after this, a client messaged me, and she's like, Dom, the weirdest thing happened to me. I could hear your recording for the first couple days, but then on like the fourth day, I can't hear it anymore. It sounds distorted. So I'm like, okay, I've heard this before. Send me a screen recording and I'll listen to it. A screen recording, I can hear perfectly fine. Well, then an hour later, she messages me back, and she goes, Dom, I don't know if I'm going crazy, but I just showed my partner this recording, and we're in the same exact room. She's listening to it. She can hear it perfectly clear, but I can't understand it. Right. So I'm like, what? Like, what are you talking about? So fast forward, I was like, let's talk about it on our session. So we jump on our session, we hop on a Zoom, and I have to see it for myself. So I share my screen, I hit the recording, and sure enough, I can hear it perfectly clear, but she can't. It sounds like it's, in Latin or something. Well, what we discovered is that she had a lot of subconscious fears around being successful. She had the fear that if she was successful, she would become arrogant and she would like lose her friends and family. She had a fear that if she became successful, people would get jealous and envy her. She also had a fear she wouldn't be able to handle large amounts of success, and she wouldn't be happy if she was successful. So, anyways, we clear out all the fears and limiting beliefs. And then 45 minutes later, she can hear it perfectly fine again. So I have a group that I do every Monday night. It's a bunch of people. We get on 40, 50 people. And I told my group, I was like, hey, this is what's going on. And a couple of people said, hey, I had the same problem. And then one after the other, I started going through, and sure enough, same thing. They could hear it. They couldn't hear it. They could read the captions on the screen, but they couldn't hear it. And then we would go through, we clear it out, and then they would hear it perfectly fine. And then the last part, I would there's this app, it's called the Paired app. So with the Paired app, what you can do is create affirmation or affirmations or an affirmation and just loop it. So it doesn't stop. It'll just play infinitely until your phone dies, you turn it off. Well, I had clients create their own affirmation and they would start listening to it. And then within a few days, they couldn't understand their own language. So, long story short, the reason I share that is because it really my paradigm had already been shifted before that, so it wasn't too crazy for me just because of a lot of experiences I've had and everything else. But it was a pretty cool thing to sort of stumble upon. I don't know who else has experienced this before, but that's kind of the new thing that I have going on right now is like really helping people break through those different barriers.
I